Next, we would like to hear from Jeanie Nitta from Nitta Ranch. And did I get that right? Is it Nitta or Nita? Nitta, okay.
Hi, I'm Jeanie Nitta. I'm really happy to be here and have this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about our family's farm, Nitta Ranch. It's in Loomis. We specialize in growing peaches, and we're experimenting in a lot of other different crops. It's been in our family since 1918, and we just took over in 2010. It was started by my husband's grandfather. He immigrated from Japan when he was 16 years old, and he ended up in Loomis. He heard about the wonderful agricultural conditions here, and he was working on the farm and ended up saving up his money and buying the farm. And he sent to Japan for a picture bride, and Tani Saito came over, and they were married and had 4 children, raised them on the farm. He farmed with oxen and horse. Worked really hard, very successful, survived World War II and relocation and coming back and starting over again. His oldest son, Alfred, took over in the late 50s, and he instigated the new modern farming techniques. He loved his tractors. He married Ellen Igarashi, and they had 5 children, and they all grew up on the farm working hard. Al was also very successful. He won an award from the Soil Conservation District. He was Farmer of the Year. But the early 60s brought the pear decline, and a lot of the trees on the farm were pears, so he had to pull all those out. The market was changing. The wholesale fruit market was getting really soft, and he was having a hard time supporting his family. So he went off farm and started what would become a very successful erosion control business. Meanwhile, Ellen, his wife, kept the farm stand going, and she had a very dedicated group of customers who come out every summer. And a lot of it was about her and her peach customers, but we all ate the peaches and loved them. The farm, though, the land was getting sold off. My brother-in-law was starting a nursery, and he needed the land for that. And so anyway, it got down to about 1 acre, and then in May of 2010, Al passed away, and we were all kind of thinking, well, what are we going to do about the peach trees? We all love peaches in the summer, and nobody really wanted to step forward and take over all the work and trouble, and they'd all been doing it as kids, so they knew exactly how hard it was going to be to take over. But here I am saying, I think we should do this. I mean, are we going to be the generation that drops the ball and you know, stops fruit farming on the ranch this year? And so I was on the phone to my son, and he was living in Oakland. He'd been going to school down there and working about 8 years, and I was talking about my frustrations, and I said, you know, the equipment's there, it's old, we've got all the pipes, the fruit trees, the people, everything's there. It just seems like somebody with a nice young back it'd be good, you know, somebody needs to take this over. And shock of shocks, my son said, I think I'm ready to move home, and I want to do that. I want to help with the farm. So my husband and I and our son Ian took classes through the UC Extension. Lots of help from friends and family, and ironically from farmers who my father-in-law had helped get started, were now helping us get started, which was very strange, but wonderful. And so we were also bringing in sustainable and organic practices, which had not been done on the farm since Mark's grandfather's time. We were kind of going back to the old way of doing things. And so it was very scary the first year. I was out there with a hand lens almost every day checking for bugs that I just knew were going to be coming out, because my father-in-law was always wanted to say, I can't do them organically. But anyway, harvest time came along, and by golly, we had fruit, and the community came out in droves. My daughter came home from law school, brought friends with her. We played baseball in the compost pile. It was really a fun weekend, and we ended up selling all of our fruit in 10 days. So we've discovered that we can grow peaches, and we can grow we can farm. So, and we also discovered it's not only important for our farm to keep our family to keep the farm tradition going, but it's really important for our community, because, gosh, we didn't realize how much the people coming out every year were so happy that we were going to keep the farm going. So we find that we have to not only do sustainable farming techniques, but we also have to develop a sustainable business plan so that we can keep the farm going and keep it in the family and make it something that's attractive for the next generation to take over. And we just love working together. We love being out in the farm together, working and keeping everything going. And we feel very privileged to be able to do this. And we find like we're really just a link in the chain, that we really don't own it. It's just ours to nurture and take care of for now. And we want to be able to pass it on to future generations of our family, and also to have it for the community to be able to come out. So I invite you to all come out and visit us this summer and see how we're proceeding. Everything keeps changing. And we have an email list in the back. We'd be happy to email you when the farm stand opens and before we sell it again.